She doesn't care what you do for her. That's the brutal truth most men never want to hear. You thought showing up, paying the bills, listening to her rants, and texting her good morning every day would make her stay. But she still pulled away. Colder, less interested, gone. Here's the truth most men can't handle. She's not loyal to your effort. She's loyal to how she feels when she's around you. And if that feeling fades, so does she. Right now, a lot of men are out here confused, frustrated, and angry. They're asking, how could she leave after everything I've done for her? They think loyalty is earned through favors, gifts, or emotional support. But that's not how female psychology works. In this video, we're going to flip the script. You're going to understand what truly drives a woman to stay, to chase, to obsess, and why your efforts might actually be pushing her away. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're playing a game you were never taught the real rules to. By the end of this video, you'll see loyalty, attraction, and love through a whole new lens. Let's get into it. Number 1. Effort doesn't turn her on. Let's get this out of the way first. Your effort, on its own, doesn't make her want you. Not your gifts, not your good morning texts, not the hours you spend trying to prove you're different. Effort doesn't equal desire, not in her world. And if that stings, it's because you've been conditioned to believe otherwise. Let me tell you about Mike, 42, a hard-working guy from Ohio. He spent 2 years with a woman named Jessica, 38. He paid for dinners, helped her move apartments, supported her through a job loss. He thought his consistency was the glue holding their relationship together. But as time went on, Jessica started pulling back. Texts got shorter, plans got rescheduled, affection started fading. Mike was doing more, but feeling less appreciated. Until one day, Jessica said it, "I don't feel it anymore." Mike was crushed. Not just because she left, but because it made no sense. He gave her everything, except the one thing that mattered most, a feeling. You see, Jessica didn't leave because Mike wasn't nice. She left because she didn't feel alive around him anymore. And no amount of effort can fake that energy. This is where most men get it wrong. We believe love is earned like a paycheck. Work harder, show up more, be dependable, and you'll be rewarded with loyalty. But that formula doesn't apply here. Because a woman doesn't fall in love with what you do. She falls in love with how she feels when you're near. You can buy her flowers and still lose her to a guy who barely texts back. You can plan perfect dates and still watch her drift toward a man who makes her feel unpredictable, electric, alive. It's not fair, but it's real. Attraction isn't logical. It's primal. And when your effort feels like overcompensation, she senses it. It tells her, this man is trying to earn me because he doesn't feel like he's enough. And once she feels that, the desire dies. Even Marcus Aurelius warned against attaching your worth to external things. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Translation? It's not about how much you do. It's about who you are while doing it. If you're acting from lack, from fear, from desperation, she'll feel it. And no woman wants to be the center of a man's self-worth. But when your presence speaks louder than your actions, when you're grounded, content, and unbothered, that's when you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to win her, but because you don't need to. That's the paradox. The less you chase, the more she notices. The less you try, the more she feels. Let this sink in. She's not loyal to your effort. She's loyal to the experience of being with you. And if that experience feels desperate, heavy, or overly accommodating, she'll run. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. But if your energy says, "I don't need you, but I enjoy you," that's when she stays curious. That's when she wonders why she can't stop thinking about you. So don't overgive, don't overprove. Stay centered, stay solid. Let her come to you. Have you ever given everything and still lost her? Drop it in the comments with, "I've done that." And if you think that's heavy, wait until you see what's coming next. Number 2. She feels your vibe, not your moves. Here's the twist most men never see coming. Your actions aren't what get remembered. Your energy island. You can say all the right things, do all the right gestures, but if your vibe is off, she feels it. And once she feels it, she can't unfeel it. You think being polite, opening doors, complimenting her hair, and planning thoughtful dates will make her stay. And sure, those things aren't bad, but they're just surface. What she really tunes into is your emotional frequency. Are you calm or frantic? Are you centered or craving approval? Are you moving with purpose or trying too hard? She might smile at your compliments, laugh at your jokes, even kiss you goodnight, but deep down, she's scanning for something else. Something primal, subconscious. She's asking, do I feel safe in his presence? Is he grounded? Does he make me feel more like a woman or more like a babysitter? That feeling isn't about what you do. It's about who you are when you do it. Women have a radar. They pick up tension, insecurity, hidden expectations. So if you walk in with a bouquet of flowers but your energy screams, "Please like me," she's not feeling the gesture, she's feeling your need. And neediness ruins attraction. On the flip side, if you say almost nothing, but you're grounded, slow, relaxed, she locks into that, because your energy speaks louder than anything coming out of your mouth. The Stoics knew this long before modern psychology caught up. Epictetus wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Notice the order. First, be, then do. Modern men reverse it. They focus on what to do without becoming the man worth following. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for congruence. Does your outer action match your inner state? If you're saying confident things but carrying anxious energy, she picks up the disconnect instantly. And that's what turns her off. So the work isn't just in what you say or how smooth your delivery island. It's in your breath, your posture, your pause before speaking. It's in the way you hold eye contact without flinching. It's in being the calm in her chaos. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because that's who you are regardless of who's watching. Think about this. How many times have you seen a man say all the right things and still get ghosted? It's not that he lacked effort, it's that he lacked presence. Presence isn't loud. It's not about dominating a room or talking non-stop. It's about being so rooted in who you are that you don't need to prove anything. When a woman feels that, her body reacts before her mind even catches up. She leans in. She mirrors your calm. She starts imagining what it feels like to be near you again and again. That's attraction on a primal level. No gimmicks, no begging, no strategies. Just your grounded masculine energy, holding steady. That's what women crave, but they won't say it out loud. Because it's not something you say. It's something you are. So if you're still out here memorizing lines, second-guessing every move, stop, slow down, breathe, and show up with nothing to prove. That's the kind of man she won't forget. If this hit something in you, drop it in the comments with, "I lead calm." We're only scratching the surface here. Stay close, what comes next might flip your whole view of attraction. Number 3. Neediness kills her desire. Here's a truth that stings. Neediness is the biggest turn off their island. Not rudeness, not mystery, not even distance. It's neediness, that energy that says, "I need her to like me or I'm not okay." She feels it instantly, and once she senses that pressure, her attraction tanks. Let's talk about Kevin, 47, from Denver. Successful guy. Owned his own business, took care of himself. He started dating Rachel, 41. She was funny, charming, and independent. At first, things were light and exciting. Kevin felt alive again. But then he started texting more, asking when they'd see each other next, wanting constant reassurance. He started checking if she was online, overthinking her replies, second-guessing everything he said. Rachel didn't ghost him. She just faded. No drama, no fights, just slow, silent disengagement. And Kevin was left wondering what he did wrong. What he didn't realize was it wasn't what he said. It was the emotional weight he brought into the space. He stopped being the man she was drawn to, and became the man begging to be kept. That shift, subtle but powerful, is what kills desire. Here's the thing: most guys miss women don't leave because you're bad. They pull away because they feel smothered. Neediness shows up in 100 little ways. Over-explaining, texting too often, asking, "Did I do something wrong?" Trying to fix things she didn't ask you to fix. All of it comes from one place: fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of not being enough. But fear isn't sexy, and it's not your job to convince her to want you. The moment your self-worth is in her hands, she loses respect. She might still care, but the fire dies. Attraction is built on polarity, masculine and feminine energy. And masculine energy doesn't beg, it chooses. When you collapse into her for validation, you stop being the stable force. You become another source of emotional work. And no woman wants another job. She wants a man who's already full, already grounded, already steady with or without her, because that's the kind of presence she can relax into. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Neediness is the opposite of that. It's fear dressed up as effort. You're not being loving, you're being afraid. Afraid of silence, afraid of being alone, afraid of being rejected. The Stoic path teaches us to own our responses, to stand tall in discomfort, to embrace solitude instead of chasing connection out of fear. A Stoic man doesn't panic when she pulls back. He doesn't chase her validation. He returns to his center, because he knows her presence is a gift, not a requirement. And the less he needs her, the more space there is for real connection to form. Let me be clear, this isn't about pretending not to care. It's not about playing games or holding back love. It's about leading with strength, not fear. It's about letting her feel your presence, not your panic. When you can sit in your own silence, when you can enjoy your life without needing her to fill the void, that's when you stop being replaceable. You become the rare man who's enough without being needed to be enough. And ironically, that's exactly when she starts chasing you. She feels the shift, the lack of pressure, the calm, grounded energy that pulls her in instead of pushing her away. So the next time you feel that urge to do more, ask yourself, am I moving from love or fear? Because one attracts, the other repels. Have you ever tried to win her back by over-giving? Drop it in the comments with, "I've chased before." We're only halfway through. And what's next might just rewire how you show up forever. Number 4. Love isn't a deal. Here's something most men never realize until it's too late. Love isn't a deal. It's not a transaction. It's not, "I give you this, so you give me that." That's not love. That's business. But a lot of men treat it exactly that way. I did all this for her. Why didn't she stay? I gave her everything. Why wasn't that enough? Because deep down, they believed love was an exchange. And when the exchange wasn't returned, they felt betrayed. But here's the truth. Love that has conditions isn't love at all. Stoic wisdom teaches us this clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Notice something? He didn't say, "to be loved." He said, "to love." Love is a privilege you give, not a product you earn. You don't control how it's received. You only control the purity of why you offer it. And when a man makes his love dependent on what he gets in return, he's not loving, he's negotiating. She didn't fall for you because of your effort chart. She fell because of how she felt in your presence. Because you weren't calculating, you were real. But when you start measuring who's giving more, who's doing more, who owes what, you leave the realm of love and enter control. And control, poison désir. You may think, but I gave her loyalty, gifts, my time. I deserve her loyalty back. Number. That's not how this works. You chose to give. That was your freedom. She's free too to stay, or not. And that's where men break. They don't want freedom, they want guarantees. But love, real love, doesn't operate under guarantees. It breathes only in freedom. Epictetus said it best. Don't expect things to happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly. You wanted love to look a certain way. You thought, if I show up, stay loyal, provide, protect, then she must love me back. But that's not Stoicism, that's expectation. The Stoic approach isn't about passivity, it's about clarity. You give, because it's in your nature to give. You love, not because she deserves it, but because you choose it. And when she leaves or stops reciprocating, you don't collapse. You return to your center. You understand that her leaving doesn't mean you failed. It means she acted according to her nature, and you remain unmoved in yours. That's Stoic strength, and it's rare, but it's also what sets you free. Here's the paradox most men never embrace. When you stop keeping score, you start winning. You stop worrying about who texts first. You stop waiting for her to notice all the little things you've done. You stop building silent expectations and then punishing her for not meeting them. Instead, you show up whole. You give because it's who you are, not because you're trying to earn her. That's the kind of love that makes a woman feel safe. Not manipulated, not pressured, just seen, just felt. And ironically, that's the love she respects most. She may not even understand it consciously, but she feels it. And that feeling of being in the presence of a man who doesn't need her love, but chooses to offer his, is rare. And when something is rare, it becomes irresistible. So, if you've been giving and giving, but secretly keeping score, stop. Let go of the scoreboard. Choose love or don't, but never confuse it with a bargain. Because the moment you do, you've already lost. Have you ever felt resentment because your love wasn't returned the way you hoped? Drop it in the comments with, "I've loved with conditions." You're starting to see the truth behind the facade, but we're not done yet. Number 5. She stays for the man she respects. Let's get something straight. A woman doesn't stay because of what you do for her. She stays because of how she sees you. And that means one thing. She stays for the man she respects. Not the man who bends over backward. Not the man who tries to buy her love. Not even the man who says all the right things. She stays for the man she looks up to. The man who walks in integrity. The man who holds his ground. Respect is the soil that attraction grows from. If that's missing, nothing else matters. Let me give you a real-world example. There's Mike, 52, from Phoenix. Solid guy, self-made, been through a divorce, raised 2 kids, got back on his feet. Started dating Tara, 46, an artist, free-spirited, opinionated, beautiful. In the beginning, Mike played it cool. He had his routine, his gym time, his business. Tara respected him because he had a life. He didn't make her the center of his world. He brought her into a world that was already moving. But after a few months, something shifted. Mike started skipping his workouts just to spend more time with her. He stopped focusing on his business so he could text her back faster. He even said yes to things he didn't believe in, just to avoid arguments. Tara didn't yell. She didn't break up overnight, but she lost interest. Because the man she respected? He disappeared. She didn't leave Mike because he wasn't nice. She left because he stopped being the man she admired. And once that respect is gone, so is the desire. Respect isn't built by trying to please her. It's built by standing firm in your values even when it's inconvenient. It's built by being honest, even if it risks upsetting her. By saying no when it's needed. By showing backbone, not begging for approval. A woman may tolerate a man who's soft for a while, but she'll crave the man who knows who he island, because deep down, she doesn't want control. She wants to feel that she's with a man who can lead himself. She wants to see that you don't fold when things get hard, that your mission comes first, that you have standards even when she tests them. And she will test them, not because she's cruel, but because part of her needs to know, are you real, or are you just another guy playing pretend? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's it. When you live like that, she sees it, she feels it, and she can't help but respect it. And where there is respect, there can be deep attraction. Here's the part men miss. Respect isn't loud. It doesn't come with fireworks or praise. It shows up in her eyes when you walk into the room. It shows up in the way she talks about you when you're not around. It's subtle, but powerful. And once it's gone, you can't buy it back. If she senses that your identity depends on her opinion of you, she loses trust. Because a man who doesn't know himself can't lead a relationship. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to have millions in the bank or a six-pack. But you need clarity. You need to know what you stand for. And stand on it, even when it costs you something. That's when she sees you. That's when she leans in. Because in a world full of men trying to impress her, you become the one man she wants to impress. So if you're constantly asking, why did she pull away after I did everything right? Ask a better question. Did I stop being the man she respected? Because effort is great, but respect is everything. You can give her the world, but if you give up your spine in the process, she'll walk away from it all. It's not about being rude. It's not about being cold. It's about being unshakable. A man she can look at and say, he doesn't need me. He chooses me. And that difference, that's what makes her stay. Ever caught yourself changing just to keep her around? Drop it in the comments with, I've lost myself. This next part will flip what you think loyalty really means. Number 6. Standards make her chase. Most men think being easygoing makes them more attractive. But the truth is, being too agreeable makes you forgettable. If you never say no, if you always go with the flow, if you let her decide everything, she might appreciate the convenience, but she'll never chase you. Because here's the thing, a woman doesn't chase comfort. She chases conviction, and conviction comes from standards. Standards are boundaries. They're the lines you refuse to cross, not just for her, but for yourself. And when she sees that, she feels something rare. She feels challenge. She feels presence. She feels masculinity. And that, my friend, is what makes her lean in. Stoic philosophy teaches that a man must know what he values and then protect it. Seneca once said, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Think about that. If you don't know where you're going or what you stand for, then everything looks like an opportunity. But to a Stoic, discipline is freedom, because when you know what matters, you stop chasing what doesn't. And here's where that connects with her. When you have standards, you show her that your life isn't ruled by her approval. You're not afraid to lose her because you'd never lose yourself to keep her. She might push your buttons. She might test your patience. She might flirt with boundaries just to see what happens. But if you respond with quiet strength, if you hold your line without yelling, without begging, she doesn't pull away. She leans closer, because now she knows this man won't bend for validation. And in a world full of men who fold under pressure, that kind of man is rare. And what's rare becomes valuable. Now, this doesn't mean being cold or rigid. It means being clear. Clear about your time, clear about your values, clear about how you expect to be treated. And when you hold those standards with calm authority, not force, she feels it. She respects it. And more than that, she starts to chase it. Because women don't crave perfection. They crave stability. They want to feel that a man knows himself so deeply, nothing shakes him. So when you stop adjusting everything just to make her like you, she'll start adjusting just to keep your interest. That's the irony most men never understand. You don't win her by pleasing her. You win her by being unapologetically rooted in who you are. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." So, who are you without her? Here's the deeper truth. A woman can admire your looks, your charm, even your money. But what she respects, what keeps her coming back, is your ability to say no. No to chaos, not to disrespect, no to anything that threatens your peace. That's what makes you magnetic, because most men are too eager. They rush to impress. They chase validation. They drop their boundaries the second attraction shows up. But when you stand still, when you stay planted in your worth, she notices. And that moment of notice, that's when curiosity begins. She starts to wonder, why doesn't he need me to like him? Why isn't he chasing like the others? And those questions pull her in. You see, standards aren't walls to keep her out. They're signals that tell her, this man knows his value. If I want to be in his life, I rise to it. That's what inspires her pursuit. Not because you're playing games, but because your presence is the prize, and she feels lucky to earn it. Ever let your standards slide to stay in the game? Say it in the comments. I've bent too far. Up next, we'll look at what she's really loyal to, and why it has nothing to do with what you give her. Number 7. Pleasers bore her. Leaders excite her. Let's be honest. The guy who constantly asks, "What do you want to do tonight?" or says, "Whatever makes you happy," or changes his entire vibe just to avoid conflict. That guy doesn't excite her. He's easy, predictable, and to her nervous system, that feels like boredom. Because women aren't wired to crave pleasers. They're drawn to leaders, not dictators, not control freaks, but men who take initiative, make decisions, and walk with direction. Let me show you how this plays out in the real world. Tom is 45, works in finance in Dallas. Solid guy, dependable, thoughtful, considerate. He started dating Claire, 42, a single mom who works in marketing, independent but open to connection. From the jump, Tom tried to be the good guy. He made sure she picked the restaurants. He complimented her constantly. He never disagreed, even when she was obviously testing limits. He thought he was making her feel comfortable. But slowly, Claire started pulling back. She'd cancel plans. She'd take longer to text back. Eventually, she told him, "You're amazing, but I don't feel that spark." Now here's what's wild. Claire started dating someone else right after a guy who didn't have Tom's resume. But he had direction. He had opinions. He had spine. That difference? It wasn't about looks. It was about energy. Tom tried to win her over with comfort. The other guy pulled her in with leadership. See, here's what most men miss. When you lead, you're not being selfish. You're giving her something she can respond to. Feminine energy craves polarity. It wants to be met with certainty, not passivity. If you're always asking for direction, she feels like she has to be the man. And even if she's polite, her desire fades. This doesn't mean barking orders or being aggressive. It means having a point of view. It means saying, "We're going here at 7. I'll pick you up." It means knowing what you want and not being afraid to show it. That decisiveness creates emotional safety. It tells her, he can handle life. He can handle me. And once she trusts that you stop being the nice guy she forgets and become the man she remembers. Remember, leaders aren't controlling. They're grounded. They listen, but they don't seek permission to be who they are. That's what pulls her in. That's what makes her chase. Here's what's even more important. Leadership doesn't always mean making the first move or controlling the plan. It means you're emotionally self-led. When things get tense, you don't panic. When she gets emotional, you don't spiral. When you're unsure, you stay steady. That emotional leadership is what makes her feel safe in your presence. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be anchored in yourself. Because deep down, what excites her isn't dominance. It's stability. When she knows you can carry your own weight, she starts to trust you can help carry hers. That's when she lets go. That's when she softens. That's when she surrenders, not out of submission, but because your leadership earns it. And that shift, that's where real attraction lives. So the next time you catch yourself defaulting to whatever you want, pause, decide, lead. Because she doesn't want a man who agrees with everything. She wants a man who believes in something. If you've ever played the pleaser just to avoid rejection, drop it in the comments with, "I've faded before." And coming up next, we're going deeper into what makes her loyal. It's not what you've been told. Number 8. She craves strength, not safety. Here's the lie society keeps telling men: just make her feel safe. That's all she wants. And yes, safety matters, but it's not what keeps her obsessed. You can be the nicest guy, the most stable, the most supportive, but if she doesn't feel your strength, she doesn't feel that spark. Because women don't crave safety like comfort. They crave strength like oxygen. It's not about how soft you are with her. It's about how solid you are with yourself. And that's where most men get it wrong. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one," he wasn't talking about perfection. He was talking about embodiment. A woman doesn't want to hear about your potential. She wants to feel your presence. She wants to know you can be calm in chaos, grounded when things shake, focused when things get messy. That's strength. And strength doesn't mean cold or distant. It means self-contained. It means you don't need her validation to stand tall. Safety without strength feels weak. It feels passive. It makes her feel like she has to lead, and when she has to lead, she stops feeling desire. This is why so many good guys get ghosted. Not because they're not kind, but because they're too careful. They're scared to offend, scared to assert, scared to be real. And that fear, she feels it. And once she feels it, she checks out. Strength, on the other hand, draws her in without saying a word. It's how you walk, how you speak, how you hold eye contact, how you say no when needed. It's your posture in life. And when she senses that, she relaxes into her feminine, not because you made her feel safe in the shallow sense, but because your presence commands the room. Let's break it down. Safety says, "I'll never upset you." Strength says, "I'll be honest, even if it's uncomfortable." No. Safety says, "Whatever you need, I'll give it." Strength says, "I'll give from overflow, not desperation." Safety says, "You complete me." Strength says, "I was whole before you." And that's what she can't resist. Not because she wants a robot, not because she needs a protector, but because she wants to feel a man who leads himself, who isn't swayed by mood swings, who isn't addicted to approval, who doesn't crumble under pressure. She wants to feel your edge. It's not just biological, it's psychological. It signals that you are capable, that you can protect without controlling, that you can provide without pleasing, and that you have the backbone to say, "I'd love to have you in my life, but I don't need you to feel whole." That line right there, that's what flips her instincts. It challenges her. It pulls her out of her comfort. And it reminds her she's in the presence of a man, not a servant. The Stoics believed in the virtue of fortitude, not as a mask, but as a muscle. Strength doesn't mean emotionless. It means emotion don't control you. You still feel pain. You still love. You still care. But you respond. You don't react. That gap between stimulus and action, that's your power. That's your manhood. And when you live from that place, you stop chasing safety. You start embodying strength. And trust me, she notices. Even if she can't explain why, she feels it in her body. And that feeling, that's the beginning of desire. So stop trying to be the safest man she's ever met. Be the strongest version of yourself, and she'll feel more safe than you ever imagined. Because real safety is a side effect of real strength, not the kind that roars, the kind that stands still, If you've ever toned yourself down just to be liked, drop a comment with, "I've done that, May." And what keeps her loyal? It's not love. It's something deeper. Stick around. Number 9. Letting go keeps her close. Most guys think holding on tighter will keep her close. But in reality, the more you cling, the faster she pulls away. Because the moment she feels you're afraid to lose her, she starts to feel like she already lost interest. Letting go doesn't mean not caring. It means you respect yourself enough to not grip out of fear. That's what draws her in. Let me give you an example. Take Mark, 42, from Arizona. He was dating Olivia, 38, a marketing consultant he met through a friend. Things started off hot, great chemistry, constant texts, weekends together. But as soon as she started pulling back a little, late replies, cancelled plans, Mark panicked. He began overcompensating. Flowers, long messages, asking if she was okay, trying to fix something that wasn't broken, just shifting. Olivia didn't respond well. She said she needed space, but what she really needed was polarity. Distance, tension. Mark thought showing how much he cared would win her back, but it only confirmed what she suspected, that he needed her more than she needed him. The dynamic flipped. Desire vanished. What would have worked better? Stillness, detachment, self-respect. Mark didn't need to chase. He needed to pull back and trust his own value. Because when you stop gripping, you give her space to come closer. And when she comes back, it's real. Letting go is powerful because it says, "I want you, but I don't need you to feel whole." No. And that message, that's magnetic. It tells her you've got a full life. You're not waiting around for her to complete you. Most men confuse loyalty with control. They think checking in constantly, keeping tabs, or always being available proves love. It doesn't. It proves insecurity. Letting go looks like not over-explaining, not begging for clarity, not reacting when she pulls away. It's not indifference. It's composure. And that kind of restraint, that gets her thinking. Because women aren't loyal to effort. They're loyal to emotion, to energy, to presence. When she feels your confidence, even in distance, she starts to question her own assumptions. She remembers the weight of your calm, the way you didn't chase, the power in your silence. It builds curiosity, tension, craving. Letting go gives her the gift of missing you. And when she misses you, not the attention, not the gifts, but you, that's when she reconnects on her own terms. That's when it's real. The Stoics taught this clearly. Epictetus said, "He who is not happy with little will not be happy with much." That applies to love too. If your peace depends on her presence, you're not loving, you're attaching. True power is found in surrender. In trusting what's meant for you will stay, and what leaves was never truly yours. Letting go doesn't kill attraction. It fuels it. It's the paradox. When you no longer try to own her, that's when she starts choosing you, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. That kind of bond is unshakable. Here's what letting go really looks like. You send the last message and don't double text. You sense her pulling away and you don't chase. You feel the tension rise and you lean back, not forward. That quiet confidence she notices, and it doesn't just attract her, it earns her respect. Because now she's not responding to pressure, she's responding to presence. And when she realizes she can't control you, that's when she starts choosing you again. Not because she's afraid to lose you, but because she sees your value more clearly than ever. Letting go doesn't mean losing her. It means giving her the space to feel your absence so she can realize what she truly misses. If you've ever chased a woman harder, the moment she started slipping away, drop a comment with, "I've done that." And if you want to understand what keeps her loyal even after you've pulled away, don't go anywhere. Number 10. She's loyal to how you make her feel. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. She's not loyal to the dinners. She's not loyal to the compliments. She's not loyal to how much you sacrifice. She's loyal to one thing only: how she feels when she's around you. That's it. And most men don't want to hear that, because it shifts the focus from doing more to being more. You can give her everything: your time, your attention, your resources, and still lose her. Why? Because feelings are her compass. She doesn't analyze spreadsheets. She reads energy. When she's around you, does she feel calm, excited, turned on, alive, inspired? Or does she feel smothered, judged, bored, or emotionally responsible for your happiness? You could be the perfect man, on paper successful, generous, consistent, but if she doesn't feel something real around you, she'll drift. It's not that she's cold, it's that she's wired differently. You see, men fall in love through loyalty. Women fall in love through emotion. And emotion isn't logical. It's felt in the gut. You might think, I've done so much, why doesn't she stay? Because it's not about what you do. It's about who you are while doing it. Did you show up grounded or needy? Did your presence feel steady or reactive? Did your words connect or perform? She's not scanning your actions like a checklist. She's absorbing your vibe. And that vibe, it either opens her or shuts her down. Here's what that means in practice. You don't need to do more. You need to be more aware. When you talk to her, are you present or distracted? When she's emotional, do you stay grounded or get defensive? When she tests your edge, do you fold or lead? It's not the grand gestures. It's the micro moments that define you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's how she remembers you, not for your efforts, but for the emotional signature you leave behind. And the wild part? Even when you're not around, she still feels your presence. The way you made her feel safe in your silence. The way you didn't chase when she pulled away. The way you made her laugh, then pause, then think. That emotional imprint, that's what she's loyal to. So stop trying to convince her with logic. Stop trying to prove yourself with action. Start showing up with intention. Be the man who shifts her emotional state just by entering the room. Because at the end of the day, she might forget what you said. She might forget what you did. But she'll never forget how you made her feel. And that feeling, that's what makes her stay. You've just heard the truth. Most men will never be told. It's not about how much you do. It's about who you are. You've learned that effort without presence falls flat. That silence can speak louder than words. And that real power isn't in chasing, it's in holding your frame. Women feel energy. They're drawn to strength. And they stay where they feel inspired, not obligated. If that clicked for you, you're already ahead of 90% of men out there. This channel exists for men like you who want more clarity, more self-respect, and more truth in how they show up. So if you found this valuable, make sure you subscribe. There's more coming every single day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.